Hi, this is Carrie from Tone Wars. We're going to go live in just a few minutes, but before we do, I just wanted to take a few seconds to say a few things. Jarrod and I really appreciate when you guys tune in and interact with us when we go live. We work very hard to make sure that our live streams and our produced videos are educational and entertaining for everyone. Believe it or not, there's a lot of work that goes into our live streams and our produced videos. So if you like what you're experiencing here, here's a couple ways you can help us out. The Super Chat feature is turned on and any amount will be appreciated. Jarrod is also available for private consultation for a nominal fee. You can contact Jarrod through two of the links below. One is through our Tone Wars Facebook page and the other is through email. So thank you so much for your support. The live stream's about ready to start, so go pour yourself your favorite glass of whiskey or other libation and we'll be right with you. Cheers!
Welcome to Tone Wars. Hey.
Hey everybody. Welcome to Tone Wars.
Another Sunday night with us.
I'm Carrie.
And I'm Jarrod. I had to check.
You've been so busy.
I have. I had a busy day hanging out with some really cool people. Yeah. So, it was fun. So, yes, Paul, if you're in the live stream, and even if you're not, you catch it on the rebound.
And he is.
Hello. And, oh, cool.
He is.
What's going on, Paul? We had a good time today. And Brent, we also had a good time. Thanks for coming out. Had a good time talking to you and getting to know Brent a little bit. It was really cool today. I was kind of rushed because I had a lot going on, but I mean, it was great hanging out with everybody.
We made it happen.
Yeah, made it happen. So, so before we say hello to everybody, if you're watching the rewatch, there are timestamps up about the topic that we're going to cover tonight regarding gain, how to shape it, how to dial it in. All the misconceptions about it, and stuff like that. We're going to go over some topics, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So, but yes, we will cover that in one segment. You know what I mean? So it'll all be kind of combined there, and then we can obviously discuss it after that. And we'll be using this guy tonight to dial in some different gain settings and stuff, and I'm really enjoying the Kraken.
I bet you are.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I have a couple of overdrive pedals I'm going to boost it with and just try out some stuff along with the internal boost that it has. And then we'll do viewer comments, right?
Yes.
And all that happy stuff. So might as well say hi to some people. Yeah.
Let's see, Aaron Short Music.
What's up, Aaron?
Josh Chair. And
hey, Josh.
Jim Sieben.
Hey, Jim. What's going on, man?
Jeff Cornell.
Jeff, how you doing?
Aaron says, will we get a cappella tonight? Already asking.
Boy, the pressure. I tell you. Right. I think you can give him a little Mary Had a Little Lamb or something, right?
Now, Jarrod told me I'd show him up, so I'm not allowed to do it tonight.
Yeah, I'm such a diva. Right. You can show me up anytime. You can sing your heart out. I don't care. Do it.
Let's see. Aaron, you only like the Kraken because it's purple. It's not purple. Oh, the lights are purple.
Lights, yeah.
I'm like, it's gray.
This is purple. That's gray.
No, the lights. I get it.
I like the British flag. That's what I like.
Robbie Timms is here.
Hey, Robbie, what's happening?
I think I already said hi to Jeff, but we can say hi to Jeff Cornell again. He wants to know if you're keeping the Victory Kraken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's now officially part of the family. Yeah. Yep, I cannot let this go. I mean, the thing is like, when am I ever going to get a chance to get one of these again? Yeah. Especially for the arrangement that I got with this guy. And it's the 18th one built, period.
Which is cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And the guy that had it before me took very good care of it, and I don't even think he used it that much. I don't see anywhere, nothing
tags
on this. Yeah, the tag's still on it. Yeah, so it's like... This thing's been very well cared for, and all of his gear was immaculate.
Oh, his basement was immaculate.
Yeah,
There's not even dust.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So, I'm definitely going to keep this and do a lot of episodes about it. Just use it in episodes for examples. It's MIDI controlled. I mean, there's a lot of great features on it. So, Yeah, I'm keeping it. And if it's not going to be here being used, I'll put it up there where the PRS MT15 is from time to time as well. So.
Helix Cabana Boy just signed
Hey,
in. Hey there.
what's going on, Derek?
I know,
I can't wait till he gets his pack. Or Darren, I'm sorry.
I'm like, Derek?
I'm thinking packages, Darren, I can't wait till he gets the package.
What'd you do?
I did some stuff.
You did some stuff? Oh, no. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, you did some stuff, too.
Let's see. Shallow Truth Band. John, I'm just here to hear that Kraken again.
Ah, cool, man.
Oh,
yeah.
is John him? You've been called John twice today. I thought at least. Maybe John is his name from Shallow Truth.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I will definitely fire this bad boy up in a little bit here for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff to talk about tonight with the the gain stuff. I've been just so you guys know, like I've been wanting to do an episode about gain. You keep telling me to not sit back, so or is it not sit forward?
Scoot back because then
gotcha.
I'm like
yeah.
talking to you over my shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to do this gain episode for a while now, and every time I sit down to shoot it, I just draw a blank, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just better live. You know, I know that might sound heady, but staring at a camera is different than hanging out with you and hanging out with all of you guys. You know, yeah. So, yeah. So I mean, I just rather do it this way.
It is hard to record yourself. You and I both. I mean, you'd end up taking
stupid.
4 or 5 takes, and
yeah. And then when I edit them, I got to find the best take. I got to line. It's 14 hours to shoot and edit a video. I'd rather just do it here. And then I can get instant feedback from these guys, from all you guys. So it's like, it's nice to have the back and forth live, you know, and we can verbally answer the question as opposed to like when people type. And I do appreciate the comments because we're going to read those in a little bit here. But I mean, it's like the whole typing back and forth, it's just easier to just talk.
He's got big thumbs.
I got big thumbs. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Aaron Lucas. Hey, everyone. R.I.P. Kobe. Yes.
Hey. Yeah.
By no means are we a news source, but it's been all over Facebook today. And what a tragic loss. I mean, a man and his 13-year-old daughter together. And I can't even imagine what his wife and other siblings and stuff are going through right now.
It's awful.
I don't even want to try to imagine. So.
Yeah, it's awful, you know. And the thing is like, I don't know the whole story about like where they were, what they were doing, but can you imagine like, I'm taking my daughter on a helicopter ride and we're gonna go see the, you know, the city or whatever, and it's like then it ends like that. Like, oh, that's awful. Yeah. Yeah. So, yes.
Love your family.
Yep.
Hug the people that you care about. Tell them.
Never know.
Tell them that you care about them and. Just value your time here. Make sure you're doing what you love to do. Yeah. Figure out what you love to do and why you're here and just do it.
Yeah. Don't waste any time. And you know what? It kind of like on that note, like don't waste time on negativity, right? I mean, because I bet you we could live 2 lifetimes. You know what I mean? If we took all the time that we wasted on negativity instead of the things that we love and the people that we love.
I heard somewhere that...
I'm guilty.
Oh, we all are, for sure. But I read somewhere that all of the negativity, most, like 90%, is the things that we make up in our own mind. Yeah. And we dwell on it so much that it's like the reality inside our head and not actually what's going on. Like if we would just stop overthinking and...
Well, yeah. Well, not only in our heads, but like on social media. Yeah. Because there's a lot of stuff there that doesn't matter either. And we spend all this time arguing with people, you know, and then we, you know, it's just stupid. You know, I mean, we should just get to living life and loving the people that we love and sharing our time with the people that appreciate it, you know, as opposed to the, I'm going to change the world with, you know, like, no, you're not. Yeah. Why don't you change your world? Yeah. You know what I mean? Make your world great, and then hopefully that'll spread to other people's little worlds, you know, and I don't know. I don't mean to sound all Sesame Street here, but I don't know. I just think that, you know, we should, and I'm, like I said, I'm guilty. I'm preaching to myself here. I'm looking at the monitor and saying, you know, like, you need to spend more time on positive things, you know, you really do. You get a lot more done, that's for sure. Yeah.
But again, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Aaron Short music. Yep, it was horrible. No more negativity. Bucket. Oh, Bucket is my god. So
Hey,
it was
what's going
nice
on?
hanging out with you today.
Yeah, it was. It really was. I wish we had more time, but it's just today was tight. You know, show days are tight. So
Ooh,
very
Jay
much
just
appreciate it, though.
Sorry, I totally talked over top of you.
It's all right.
Jay said he's popping in to say hi.
Hey, what's going on? Let us know who's winning all the wrestling matches.
Yeah, enjoy the wrestling.
All
I'm
the
a
scripted matches.
closet wrestling fan. I haven't watched it in years, but I grew up when
Yeah.
Macho Man Randy Savage and
Yeah,
Hulk
Hulk
Hogan and back in the heyday.
Back in the heyday. Yep. That's funny, man. You know, I can't believe he's choosing wrestling over us tonight, but at least he's tuning in.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for tuning in, brother.
You did it.
What you gonna do when you don't? Oh man,
Gosh.
it's funny.
We're caught up here. They're just kind of agreeing with what we're saying,
right.
speaking the
Yeah.
truth.
No, it's true. You know, and it's definitely something. You know, especially when you meet older people that are up in their years, and it's like their regrets are all the stuff they didn't do,
Yeah.
and then wasting time.
Yeah.
You know, they all say the same thing. I wasted too much time on frivolous things, and
Worrying.
and if I could trade that time to do all the things that I should have done and didn't do, you know what I mean? And maybe shouldn't have done, but should have done anyway, you know what I mean? Like, that's what life is, you know? I mean, sometimes you gotta, you know, take some chances and take a risk. And
Why don't we want the Rev to visit the show again? What did you do? What did you say? To Jay, warm core music, he says, I guess you don't want the Rev to visit your show again.
oh, because I said wrestling scripted or something.
Oh,
I said he picked wrestling over us. No, I get it, man. No, the Rev will be here. The Rev will be here. We love you, Jay. Even though you love wrestling more. Whatever.
We've got a John Claudio from Harlingen, Harlingen, Texas.
Hey, what's going on, man?
It was hard to get that one out.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Harla.
That was a lot. Yeah, so let me adjust the mic a little bit here.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's talk about Gain.
Let's talk about Gain.
Let's talk about
baby.
Gain. There, she sang.
Yeah,
There you go. She sang. You know what we should do is have you introduce all the segments. Do it again. Let's talk about Gain.
I can't
Come
do
on.
it now.
Oh.
Now I'm all embarrassed.
Oh, I'm embarrassed now. Well, that's all right. All right. I get a lot of comments on it. I get a lot of comments, especially when I go live on Wednesday nights. Bro, the Gain. You know, there's some gain there. It's like, well, yeah, there should be. It's a metal amp, you know. I want some gain, you know, and it's funny.
You love Gain.
I love gain, but I don't turn it all the way up. I got it at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, that's my sweet spot on
What
most
is all
amps.
the way up?
All the way up is 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock or whatever. Like right here, I'd have to turn this dial all the way down to, 12 o'clock's in the middle, so 6 o'clock, I guess, would be all the way up, you know, because it's all the way around back to. But anyways, and it's funny, like I've even seen John Petrucci do videos where he's like, I saw the video where he introduced his new Dreamscape pedal, and there was a bunch of comments on there from guys going, "Dude, your gain's kind of high, man." Like, really, you're gonna gain shame Petrucci, the Trooch, you know? Like, come on, you know? And it's funny. It's like he's one of the best guitar players ever, and like, your gain, man. Like, bruh, your gain. Give me a break, you know? So like, I want to dispel some stuff about that because gain is subjective, and it's also something that you need depending on the genre of music that you play. Some music, you know, some genres you want it higher, some you want it lower. I mean, you're not going to play in a country band with a metal amp with your gain cranked and with a, you know...
Unless you don't know you're a country band.
Yeah. We know a few people like that, don't we? Yes, we do. Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that. So you don't do that because it has to be, it has to be appropriate for the genre of music you're playing. But it also has to be enough to support the riffs that you're playing and make them stick out in a mix and have all that character. Because gain adds character. It adds texture and things like that to your tone. And so I want to cover some stuff with that, and I've been gain shamed, and I'm sure you have too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's not you. You, the camera people, the audience. We've all been gain shamed at one point, and there's people like, well...
There's like, nothing's wrong with country.
No, there's nothing wrong with country.
No, not at all. I actually love country music.
Yeah,
he doesn't at all.
No, I like it, but I don't listen to it that much.
Like a song or two, but...
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's great for what it is. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to have enough to support the riffs that you do. Remind me to talk about George Lynch in a bit here.
Write that down.
Yeah, write that down. So I have some examples here, and I'm going to play each example.
All right.
And we're going to talk about it. Unfortunately, we can't hear the examples, but you can. But I've already heard them. She can't, which is unfortunate. No. I should have showed you them, but...
It's all right. So I wrote down some topics earlier. Did you...
Yeah, let's do the examples, and then we'll cover the topics. Yeah, thank you, though.
Yeah. Oh, Aaron Short. Thanks for the super chat, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it, man. Aaron Short loves his gain all the way up. Yes. So... let's go over misconceptions, too, after we're done with these things, if you don't mind writing down misconceptions. Please and thank you. All right, so let's do example 1. So what we're going to do is everything's listed in there. You're going to hear the gain set in a full mix on the guitar with the PRS MT 15 here with an overdrive pedal on this example. The gain's going to be set at 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 1 o'clock in the mix. And you're going to hear how it's affected, the guitar tone in the mix. So let's go ahead and hear that right now, and then we'll discuss. Okay, so we did the different levels of gain. So I had the 7 o'clock, which is way down. 9 o'clock, which I think is a good studio setting because you're double tracking, and that's in the notes too, right? The double tracking part.
Yep.
And then I did the 1 o'clock, which is what I use for live. Now here's the thing, like 7 o'clock, in my opinion, sounded wimpy. It just sounded very wimpy. It almost sounded like kind of a breakdown part or an intro-y, kind of like things are about to get kind of wild here, but we're just going to do this chunky little, intro, but it never got bigger. So I think that low gain setting is more of a stepping stone type gain setting. You wouldn't want to play a whole song like that because the guitars sound weak.
Yeah.
Especially for that type of music. Now, if it was AC/DC,
maybe
probably fit. Yeah. I would probably want a little more, but it would probably fit though, because so it depends on the genre that you're playing, and also it depends on how you want it to feel, because gain adds a feel.
Right.
It adds a nice feel to the guitar, and I play other people's rigs all the time, and I'm always, well, not always, but a lot of times it's just it doesn't support my riffs.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's bad.
No, it's
It
just a
doesn't mean
personality thing.
Yeah, it's a personality thing, Some people like their food hotter than others,
Woohoo! Bucket is my god. $50. That's thank
Dude,
you so much.
Oh my God, thank you. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow, seriously, thank you so much, Brent.
That's Brent, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, dude, you really didn't have to do that. Wow, man. Seriously, thank you so much. That really means the world to us. And again, it was great hanging out with you today. It really was.
Yeah, Brent took advantage of Jarrod's consulting business.
Yeah.
He bought a Helix recently, right?
Yep.
And bought it right here from Motor City, and had no problem telling them.
Yeah. And thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much.
It helps us. I mean, it just basically what it does is it informs them that
it's working.
Yeah, that
Tone Wars is working.
Yeah, like it's working. We're getting the word out and stuff, and it keeps the relationship good with them. Where they let me bring gear home, to borrow on Wednesday nights to do my live stream. So it definitely helps, and not a lot of people do that. You know how it's like you get referred to somebody, and people forget to give you the credit or the props, and it's like it's so rare. So 1 out of 20 people do it. So. Thank you, Brent, so much.
But he bought the Helix recently, and then had a lot of questions that needed to be answered, and he needed some help, and
so we got together.
So he took advantage of Jarrod's consulting service and came up for a couple hours this morning and brought all of his equipment and had Jarrod help him hook it up and.
Yeah, we got it all MIDI controlled. We got all the effects dialed in. The volume's leveled, and we got the Helix updated, and it's all set up. We got the snapshots set up, labeled, even color-coded the way he likes them. So, all that stuff. So, Brent, all he has to do is just plug in, turn it on, and enjoy it now, Turnkey rig.
Aaron Short says, way to make him look cheap. Aaron, don't even think that. We appreciate everything.
No, we do. We really appreciate it. Seriously, do. We appreciate every penny that we get. So, anyways, where was I?
I don't know. I interrupted with a woo.
Yeah, I was talking about, let me think here. I was talking about, how important it is that the gain's dialed in right. So, all right, so what you had there was a variation, low gain, like a kind of a typical studio gain. I left it at 9 o'clock, push it with an overdrive, and then the 1 o'clock. I feel the 1 o'clock, like if a studio engineer sent me those three examples and said, all right, this is what I got, what do you want? For me, I'd want it at 1 o'clock. Because I want that meat. I want the chunk. I want the meat. I want a little bit of, I think like one gentleman said earlier, I want some stank on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wanted to read that one.
Yeah, what did he?
He said it was... Oh, I just lost it. Jeff Cornell.
Yeah.
Put some stank on it and give me the ear spank.
Yeah, that's and that's how I would answer the studio engineer. Put some stank on it and give me the ear spank.
Robbie Tim says if you have a really light touch, you can get away with higher gain settings compared to a heavy hand, which you would need less gain to achieve the same amount of saturation.
100% agree. Yes, because I'm a light to medium player, and when you go fast... You need a little more to fill in those holes, because you're not hitting the strings as hard, and you want the notes to pop out. That gain gives you that evenness, almost like a compressor pedal. It makes everything kind of even. But
listen to me, I'm like,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
I know.
I got my nails did. So I mean that's pretty much like what it's for, is to help us. And I've actually had people say, well. I'll go over one misconception now. Well, if you need a lot of gain, you suck. Or if you need more gain, you need it to hide your notes and all this kind of stuff. It's like, no, I need it because it feels good and it sounds amazing and it's fuller and that saturation really does fill things in more. Now, there's too much, and we'll give you examples of that in a minute. There's definitely a too much kind of thing, too. So you got to find your sweet spot with it. Okay? So on that example, I hope that, that kind of portrayed what we're talking about here. Again, I think 7 for that type of song that was played in the mix, way too low. 9 and 1 o'clock, are subjective. It depends on you, what you like. And plus, there's no vocals there, maybe other instruments. So the more saturated the guitar is, the more it kind of oozes into other things. So you got to take all that stuff into consideration. Right. And those were dual track. There's 2 tracks there, 2 guitars, left and right. Some people quad track. So the more saturated your tone is when you put multiple tracks up. Now it's this ooey gooey mess. So you got to clean it up even
Swirling
more.
everywhere.
Yeah, so that's that deal. So
Vocal Pathfinder. I always call it Vocal for VOX. Vox Pathfinder.
Hey, what's going on, Dan?
He said, guys like gain because it's harder and harder to turn amps up and get that power tube compression and clipping.
Mm-hmm. That does make a difference. So there's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
And we'll and thanks for commenting. And we can definitely cover some of the other variables that we wrote down earlier too. This was definitely a last minute put together episode. I like feverishly was down here putting these tracks and stuff together tonight. So
you have more tracks now?
Oh yeah, I'm hoping it goes over well. So you turn this off. And all right, so here are some isolated tracks of that same recording, where the guitar is at the gain is at 1 o'clock, and then there's a no boost at 1 o'clock as opposed to a boosted track with an overdrive on it at 1 o'clock. So same gain setting, but one's not boosted, one is. So check that one out. All right, I was about to take a sip of whiskey because we literally can't hear what's going on here. Oh, you know what? I have to pause the track because I think it's playing underneath what we're talking about. Yeah, so I gotta mute the track. All right, sorry about that. I probably forgot to do that earlier. I can't hear anything. I had to hear it earlier.
It's not even in your ears?
No.
Okay.
No, only they can hear everything. So I don't know when things are going on underneath. Let me make sure I got other stuff off.
Feel free to say something if there's stuff going on.
Yeah, if there's stuff going on, like your intro's still going on here too. I gotta shut that off. Jeez. Man, I hope that wasn't interrupting anything.
Nobody said anything.
Good. Yeah, if you guys hear anything weird, please chime in. Okay, so that one was isolated track, 1 o'clock boost versus no boost. And as you heard, you didn't, but they did.
Didn't hear.
As you guys heard, because I heard all this stuff earlier, I mixed it down. There's a nice top end with the boosted tracks because that's what an overdrive does.
Mm-hmm.
It adds that nice cutting top end, but it's not annoying. It just gives it that nice crispy top end, tightens up the bottom end, and if you're listening through in-ears or like a good stereo system, you can hear the difference in the bass on both tracks. Now, too flubby of a guitar tone, now your engineer's got to sculpt all that out. With an overdrive pedal does it for you. So you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's already sculpted, and that's what overdrive pedals do. They don't add gain unless you turn the gain knob up. That's another misconception. People are like, well, I don't need all that gain. Well, I don't either.
Yeah,
I'm not getting any gain out of my overdrive pedal. I'm just getting a nice, punchy slam to the front end of the amp, and it's sculpting my tone and shaping it. It makes it feel better to play, more percussive, more responsive, and I get sustain, harmonics, I get all the great stuff I love. It's like getting a tune-up on your amp. You know what I mean? It's just, oh, wow, what'd you do to it? I just put an overdrive in front of it. Like, dang, that was awesome, So all your notes, all your riffs, all the idiosyncrasies in your playing, the character, and your talent and your hands and all the things that you do comes out better with an overdrive. And as you heard in that track, that's definitely 100% true. That was the PRS MT15 amp again. It's a great sounding amp, but when you slam it with an overdrive, it sounds even better. Without it, especially when you compare them side by side, which is what I had in there, just a direct A/B comparison. The amp sounds dull and kind of lifeless, and it lacks character compared to the overdriven version of the amp. So it helps your stuff sit out in the mix better without being annoying and screechy, but again, feels amazing.
We have a couple comments in here about string gauges.
Okay.
Gravel Rock says, I use man gauge strings in standard tuning or or drop D1254. He wants to know what you use.
What gauge string do you use? I use Soy Boy. They're 8 lights. Really? I use Oops, I Broke a Nail.
All right, Brittany.
No, I use 10s. Yeah. Hopefully these are manly enough.
Right.
Well, she's like, I use 20s.
Yeah.
No, I use 10s. And I just like how they feel. I want to grab the string and have it have a little bit of resistance because if I grab like 9s, I feel like I can tie them up and make balloon animals out of them. I mean, it's crazy. So, and then on my drop tune guitars, I'll go up to 11 or 12 gauge, and those are they just feel great, Yeah. I mean, I think I use 11 heavies on my 6th string that's dropped tuned to C sharp standard, and yeah, it gets a little like shredding on it. Maybe it's in my head, but it seems to give me a little resistance. Though. Yeah.
Aaron Lucas says, Jarrod, did you see Rick Beato's video on string gauges? I
haven't watched that yet, but I'm going to. I'm sure it's very informative. Rick Beato's amazing. The guy knows freaking everything. He
said how Dave Friedman told him lighter gauge gives tighter bottom.
Yes.
Any thoughts?
Yes, because they actually vibrate more. The lighter gauges vibrate more and the amps pick up on it more. So
he likes Cabana Boy, says 10s. That's cute. I love that. You're a funny man. That's cute.
Yeah, leave it to Darren to make fun of me.
Darren or Derek?
Darren. I screwed up earlier. Yeah, Derek. What you got now?
Gravel Rock said, I just think I get a better, thicker, fuller tone with heavier gauge strings.
Well, bigger the string, bigger the area, I guess, and the more surface area for the pickup to listen to. So, I mean, there's probably 10 ways of looking at it. I haven't heard everything Rick Beato had to say, but I'm interested in hearing his point of view because I'm sure everybody's right, to a certain degree with it all. So, I know... Stevie Ray Vaughan was known. I think he played 14s, which is like just stupid, And he had big fat tone, but I don't know if it was the strings or what, But I've also heard that he went back to lighter strings. So
my whiskey bit me there.
Oh, did it? Did it get you?
It bit me.
Yeah.
It bit the back of my throat.
Mm. Oh, we need to switch you back to Kool-Aid.
It nearly went down the wrong tube.
Oh, that's the worst. We'd have to go to commercial.
Right? Commercial break. Somebody buy t-shirts.
Save her life. Yeah. So anyway, was there any comments about that clip before we go to the next one?
Paul says he thought his video was very interesting. Not at all what you would have thought. Right, said Fred Gage. I don't know what that... Let's see. Later.
Right, said Fred Gage. Yeah. I'm too sexy for my strings.
Lighter gauge strings have less energy. That's it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like when you play heavy, I played a buddy of mine's guitar once, and he had 9s on it, and it just felt so easy to play. But then I started overbending everything. Oh. I was overbending all my notes, way out of key and stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, that's not right. So, but yeah, and plus 10s last longer. They don't break as easy. So there's a thing, So that actually works too, So I hope you guys are enjoying these examples.
Do you have more examples?
Yes, I have 2 more. So I have this one here. Is 100% gain. So there's people that say, I don't need an overdrive pedal. I just crank the gain, breh. Breh. B-R-E-H. I just crank the gain and I don't need an overdrive. Well, let me show you something. Here we go. Alrighty. She was taking care of her burning throat. Oh, this is some blackmail material there.
Yeah, you do not want to hear what was going on. Did you mute your music or the track?
No, I didn't. Thank you. All right. So, so as you heard, I mean, even with 100% gain, like I don't need an overdrive pedal. All I have to do is turn my gain all the way up, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Well, you heard how messy and how flubby it sounded, and the bottom end was way out of control, especially for a mix, and it sounded dull. Especially, and no offense to the amp, all amps, they just sound like that. You know, and when you compare it side by side with and the gain was at 1 o'clock on the one that I had to compare it to with a boost on it. Lower gain with a boost had more aggression than gain all the way up, because the boost pedal, overdrive, whatever you want to call it, adds aggression. Not gain, it adds aggression. So you get that really nasty top end with that tight bottom end, and it really all the chugs, you can hear the pick attack better, all the notes, the separation, it's all there, and it just sounds amazing. So this is how you beat an amp at 100% gain. You turn it down, slam it with an overdrive, and you're good to go. So I hope that helped with that example.
Yeah. Let's see. Vox Pathfinder. You can move pickup closer to strings to get more low end, similar to going up in gauge. Gravel Rock says, I feel like I can pick a lot faster with heavier gauge strings because they don't give as much.
Yeah.
Ben says your examples are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see.
And hello, Ben.
Yeah, hello, Ben. Gravel Rocks, how do you get a recording to sound that incredible? What's the secret?
Well, part of the secret is to have
a great sound engineer.
Yeah.
A great studio engineer.
Yeah, so like that particular recording I did at, so the drums and the bass guitar were recorded by Paul Raymond, who I record a lot of stuff with for Tone Wars. And then I record the guitar tracks here, and it's actually a really simple setup. I mic the amp, the cab, with the Sennheiser E609. I go direct into my recording interface, which is just an audio box by Presonus. It's nothing real fancy. And then I just record it straight in. There's no EQ, there's no compression, nothing. All I do is double track and pan them left and right, and I'm done. I try to keep things as raw as I can for these examples because I'm trying not to, the filters that women use today on
Make their
Facebook.
Eyes huge,
yeah,
and
so smooth. Yeah, I try to not woman filter my tracks. You don't do that because you don't need to, but
well,
you know what we talking about? Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier. The filters are like, so I try not to filter my tracks per se, so that you guys just get raw stuff from me and just go, wow, that amp sounds just like that. And always on all of my tracks, that's how it is. There's no EQ or compression or anything, no tricks, because I want you guys to hear the raw stuff, So that's how I do it.
This person commented either last week or on Wednesday, and you said John, but it says Jan. It's got the fighting Irish guy.
Oh.
Is that John Patrick Lucas? Is it John or Jan?
I don't know.
You called him John, and I was like, maybe you know something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
sorry.
Fighting Irish guy.
Yeah,
This is his comment. Your playing and tone is awesome. Sounds like Queensryche, George Lynch influenced. Where can I check out some original material if available?
Thank you so much. And you know what's funny is when I recorded that at the studio, me and Paul come up with names for everything. So when he sends it to me, I know where to find it in Dropbox. And this is called, I think it's called the Lynch. What's it called? Lynch something. I'll just say it. We called everything gent balls for a while. Gent balls. Because it was just a stupid joke. So this was called Lynch gent balls. He sent it to me. So, because it had a Lynch vibe to it. So you're very good ear on that as far as catching that feel. Anastasi is our band. Yeah. Anastaci.
You did it.
Yes. How do I win? You can find us on Spotify. We have 3 tracks released right now. It's a new project of ours, so we just have three tracks released, but they're full tracks. They're 10 minutes each, so there's plenty of music for you to listen to there. But thank you so much for asking. I appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words.
Yes, thank you. Aaron Short, what settings do you have on the OD pedal?
Oh, good question. All right, so in this particular mix, I use the Precision Drive by Horizon Devices, which is pretty much my go-to pedal. I have the attack knob up 2 notches from the bottom, so it's not super like you can go up 5 notches and it gets so stringy and tight and thin, but I don't really like that. I want meat. I want the meaty, beefy tone with a nice cut on top. So that's the setting I found. The volume is at 1 o'clock. The bright is at just over noon, and the gain is at 7 o'clock. So it's up just enough, you know, because I paid for it, so I'm going to use it. It's literally what I do. And the gain on the amp is set to whatever it says in the video. So like 1 o'clock or whatever. So that's pretty much what it is. So again, like guys that want to argue with me all the time, I don't need an overdrive pedal because I just crank my gain. I'm telling you, if the challenge I would have for anybody that would say that, whether you're here or you're on the rewatch, do this. Get an overdrive pedal, put it in front of your amp, set it up like this in general. Tone in the middle, gain all the way down, volume all the way up. Okay? And slam the front of that amp with that pedal. Play a riff for like 2 minutes. The same riff, just a real heavy, chunky, just really cool, tight riff with the pedal on. And then turn it off while you're playing it. And you're going to be like literally somebody pulled the rug out from underneath you. And you're going to be like, well, yeah. And don't be such a purist and be all like, well, I just need my amp. Knock it off. You know, seriously. Like,
what happened to its personal taste?
Well, here's the thing, though. Better's better. And it's just true. You know, it just is, you know.
Better's better.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing just kind of chords and stuff like that, fine. You could probably go either way, but I'm going to tell you this. An overdrive pedal is going to make your guitar stand out.
I'm going to tell you this. When I hear your music, I'm really not going to like it.
Yeah. This song is called Bathroom Break. Because I don't have an overdrive. I'm kidding. I'm just being stupid. But the thing is, though, is if you have an overdrive pedal, your guitar is going to stand out in a mix better. And you're actually going to, I think a lot of guys are going to enjoy what it does to their tone so much that they're going to play differently. They're going to utilize that. If you have a car that corners better, you're going to corner more with your car. You're not going to granny around the corners anymore. You're going to slide around them a little bit and have a little fun, aren't you? Same thing with this, you know, enjoy it.
Thank you for the compliment. Bucket is my god, said Carrie doesn't need filters.
That's right. She don't.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Box Pathfinder says that's the infamous Tube Screamer boosting setting.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I'll tell you a story too. Get your milk and cookies. When I was younger, get your whiskey. When I was younger, I made a huge mistake, and I was a kid. You know, I had this amp and. My dad bought it for me for Christmas, and he asked the guy at the store, well, what's the first pedal the guy should have, or my son should have? So the guy at the store was an idiot, and he basically said, well, he should get a compressor pedal, without asking my dad what kind of music I play or anything. So me, not knowing better...
What type of music would your dad have said you played?
Satanic. Yeah, because I grew up in a pastor's home, so anything but church music was satanic backmasking. Yes. World dominant crap, you know. So anyways, I was playing Scorpions and Dokken and stuff, but whatever. So anyways, so I get this compressor and I put it in front of the amp.
And you hate it.
And no, I just thought that's how it is.
That's what it was.
So I put a compressor in front of my distorted channel, which, okay, that's a matter of taste. Some guys can do that or whatever, but it was so noisy, so I was always tethered to it. Because every time we stopped playing, it was like, the gates of hell opened up, you know?
Just like your dad said.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe he was right. He based it on that. So I was always stepping on my pedal on stops and stuff, and I'm always sitting there, and I'm like, Now he's watched concert footage. I'm like, why doesn't he have to do that? Well, because he was smarter than me. He doesn't have to, you know. So then I go to the store and I see these overdrive pedals, the Boss, you know, OD pedal. I get it. I put it in front of my amp. Of course, me not knowing what I'm doing, I turn the gain all the way up, turn the volume all the way up, because I'm like, gain and coolness and yeah. And it was just like, yeah. It's like this big, horrible, disgusting mess. I'm surprised demons weren't coming out of my speakers, you know. Come for your daughter, Chuck. I'm like, oh my God. So I returned the pedal because I didn't know it never occurred to me. Turn the gain down, you know. So if you're going to set the pedal up wrong and it sounds like crap, it's not the pedal, it's you. So, and now here's the thing too. If you got enough aggression in your amp with the pedal on, and maybe it's a little too aggressive, you know, for certain things, just roll the gain back a little bit. Not because the pedal's adding gain, but it's sometimes rolling the gain back a hair will tighten it up even more and just give you that nice smooth top end without too much spillover in between chuggies, you know. So
Chuggies.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So that's kind of my story, and that's why I'm so passionate about overdrives, because if I would have known all this stuff a long time ago, I would have benefited from it. I wouldn't have been tethered to a stupid pedal. And I'm not kidding with that compressor. I mean, it was just a big plethora of just filth in between my notes, and it made me a sloppy player because I had all this stuff in between the notes. I couldn't hear the articulation, and I thought I was better than I actually was. So it was almost like I had one of those chick filters on my playing. Like, wow, look how smooth I am. And look how, you know, and then I go into an amp with like a properly set up amp with a properly set up gain structure and overdrive, and I sucked. I was literally like, someone took the filter off. It's like, that's what you really look like, honey. You're like, oh, damn, I need some work, you know? So that was literally what I went through, and I had to go back to the drawing board and learn how to be a better guitar player. You know, so, I mean, thank God I figured it out, but I wish I would have figured it out sooner. So let that just be a lesson to anybody that's in the struggling like I did. Definitely dial things in properly, and you know, you're going to be a better player, your music's going to be better, and you're going to enjoy playing a lot more.
Aaron, let me do Helix Cabana Boy really quick first. He said, I never used an overdrive for tightness until Jarrod wouldn't stop bashing my eardrum about it. So I tried it and it works. I use it all the time now.
Yeah, thank you. And it's a great challenge, right? I mean, I dare anybody watching this to play a really chunky, cool riff for about even 30 seconds and then turn the pedal off.
What do you want to call the challenge?
It's the overdrive chuggy challenge.
The chuggy challenge.
The chuggy challenge.
Send Jarrod your chuggy videos. Yeah. Maybe we can play them on.
You could do that. I would love to see the reveals on people's faces where they're like, "Oh my God, he's right," you know. Yeah. So like, you could put videos up on YouTube and make them private and send me the link, and I'll watch them, and we'll all enjoy the reveal. I had a friend over a while back. Who I should just remain nameless because I don't want to embarrass him, but it's just a funny story. He's like, no, I don't use an overdrive, and he had his amp in my living room. Yeah, we're up here playing around, and so like, but while I was hooking him up, I put an overdrive in there, and he's like, oh, I don't use those, and I'm like, okay, well, I left it in the chain anyways because I'm like, we'll just leave it there. And he started playing, and I was like, man, I'm surprised you don't use one. I mean, the way you play, it would benefit you. And he was like, no, I don't need it. You know, I just kind of do my thing. And so while he was playing, I turned it on without him looking. And he was really like playing and enjoying, you know, and I could see he was hitting the strings harder and really like digging in and enjoying it. And then I turned the pedal off when he wasn't looking. He was like, well, what happened? Like, and I was like, I turned the pedal off. He goes, you mean that was on? I'm like, yeah. He goes, turn it back on again. And he started playing. And I cycled it on and off every like 10 seconds. And I was like, well, what do you think? You know? And he was like, dude. Yeah. Like, that's how you know you convince somebody. Yeah. All they have to do is say, dude. And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, that was it. He was convinced, and I'm pretty sure he's got an overdrive now all the time.
So did you start a thing? It's a real thing. The Overdrive Chuggy Challenge.
Yeah, seriously. Send me, okay, when we're done here, I will post my email in the description. I keep forgetting to do that.
Yeah. I can type it up here,
yeah,
too.
please do. Yeah. And send me the private links to those videos. You can make them, it's either private or, what's it called? I don't
know.
There's two ways on YouTube you can make them. I forget the other ones. But, yeah, send those over. I want to watch them, especially if they're like real, like first time guys going, all right, I'm going to take this stupid challenge and see if he's full of it or not. And I'm telling you, I'm not full of it. It really does make a difference. I don't care what genre you play. It makes a difference.
There we go. I just put it in the chat.
Thank you. I mean, has Stevie Ray Vaughan used one?
Yeah. Let's see.
John
Jeff
Petrucci
Cornell
uses one. I mean,
says,
come on.
what OD pedals do you recommend along with the precision drive?
Good question. And I'm going to show, and we're going to cover this in a minute too, because it depends on your amp.
Yeah.
Some amps are pretty damn tight. You know what I mean? You can get an amp that's pretty tight, and if you get a pedal that really tightens it up and is very aggressive, sometimes it could be over the top. You know, like I have the Blue Amp Iridium, you know, and if I slam that with the precision drive, it's like, it just doesn't work, because that is a super tight little amp. And so what I did is I found, because I run it 4-cable method with my Helix, which is off camera here, but it's right here. And I found a digital version of an overdrive pedal, which really don't work really well with amps, but the Blue Amp just needed that little nudge. You know what I mean? That little boink, you know, just to push it over the edge for me. And it did it. And I was like, oh, there it is. There's that richness and that chunky, meaty, beefy richness that I love so much. Richness. So it just made that the way I wanted it. So it depends on your amp, but I will say that if you have an amp that's pretty tight, you can go with something a little more mellow. I have, where is it? Oh, the Golden Pearl. That's a good pedal by Friedman. I also have down here the Grid Slammer by Mesa, which is a little milder kind of overdrive. So, and that's, I'm going to show you how that sounds on the Kraken versus the internal overdrive on the Kraken and the precision drive. And Salvation Audio makes a pedal called the Tone Wheel Boost, which is off camera there. It's made out of skateboard parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a giant skateboard wheel on it, and you can turn the boost up on it. So it depends. Like, what you want to do is take your amp, your guitar, to the store and line up like several pedals and just run them through it and find the one that speaks to you. And set them up the way I said, like gain all the way down, tone in the middle, and the volume all the way up. That's a good starting point, and then just compare them apples to apples, and you'll find the one that speaks to you. You'll find the one that you like.
Aaron Short had a low gain comment. He says, would you still use the drive pedal to push it, or only on the heavy lead channel?
I would use it. Mine's on all the time. So if I was a low gain guy, and I'm not, so forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn here with the low gain crowd, but I would use it only because it makes the amp feel good. You know, because again, it just makes the amp more responsive, more percussive, tighter, and it makes everything that I'm doing have more kick to it, you know? So, and then if I wanted to mellow out, I would, instead of turning my gain down, I would just click the pedal off if I wanted to do some groovy, smooth, kind of like moody stuff, you know what I mean? That's what I would end up doing. So, and that pedal really does help big time. You know, it's the most underrated pedal out there. But if I had to travel and if we had 10 shows coming up and they were like, but you can't do it with a boost pedal, I'd be like, cancel. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't play what I play without it, and it doesn't make me a crappy guitar player. It just means that it's kind of like telling I don't know, name him Mario Andretti, like the race car driver. Well, you can't race today with the fairings, the suspension system, the tires, and all the stuff that's on your car. We got to strip that off. Guess what's going to happen? He's going to lose the race. Why? Is it because he's a crappy driver? No. You know, and then there's the other people that are like, well, if you're such a good driver, why don't you just get a station wagon and go in the race with that? Well, I'm sorry, but if you're going Mach 10 with your hair on fire, you need something that supports that. So yeah, it's the same thing. If you're playing a certain way, you need gear that supports that, you know.
Just wanted to mention Eric Hines sent a super chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We really, seriously, guys, it means the world to us. I mean, we work hard on this channel, and we try to give out the best content we can, and it really means the world to us that you're here and that you're supporting us that way. Thank you so much. So I think I have one more example, right?
Let's do it.
Do we have any other comments regarding this?
Vox Pathfinder said to try Boss pedals like OD3 or SD1 or a Blues driver.
Yeah.
Aaron Short, anyone tried the Strymon Sunset drive pedal?
Oh, I haven't tried that yet, but I definitely, I should do that on a Wednesday night where I just line up a bunch of OD pedals and then just...
There you go.
So I'll tell you guys this. So I bought the Synergy stuff it was a year and a half ago or something like that. And then I went to the store after I bought it, and I was like, well, let me bring my rig in, and I wanted to get a new pedal because I was like, oh, new rig, new amps, new everything. I want to get a new overdrive pedal, and I had the Precision Drive, and I sold it to a friend of mine before I bought this rig. So I was like, well, I'm going to get a new pedal, and I tried 10 pedals that day. I lined them all up. And they all sounded pretty good, but for me, none of them really gave me that thing that I was looking for. The indescribable thing. You can't put words to it, but it's kind of like when you meet your it person. You know what I mean? You're just like, I don't know what it is, but I can't stop thinking. It's the same thing with the pedal. There's that thing that happens, and none of them had it for me yet, and I tried a lot of stuff that was the Maxon, the Tube Screamer, like all these other boutique pedals, and they're all good, but so then I was like, well, grab me the Precision Drive because, you know, I didn't want to have to buy this again. Nothing against the company, but I just wanted to try something different. Yeah. And there it was. I set it up the way I always had it, and there it was. Like,
it's your it pedal.
There it is. I guess I'm buying that, and it just works for me, you know. So that if that helps anybody making decisions, I mean, it's a very versatile pedal. Just so you know, like the headroom on this pedal regarding the volume is twice as much as a Tube Screamer. So noon on this pedal on the volume is all the way up on the Tube Screamer. That's why I only have this up at like 1 o'clock on the volume, because it's slamming this amp really hard right now. I mean, it's just beating it against the wall, you know, at these settings. The attack knob on it really helps you get that nice attack and tightness. It's how much bottom end you want to pull out of the amp. So if you have a really gooey, flubby amp, you might want to crank the attack up 3 notches, depending. So it gives you all of that variance for that. And then it does have gain. If you have a low gain amp and you want gain on it, it'll add gain. And then the bright knob again is twice the headroom as any other pedal. So if you have a darker amp that you really want to push, it'll add brightness to it, but not in an annoying way, just in a really nice, crispy, top-endy kind of way. So
hi, Mike Hasty.
Oh, hey, what's up, man?
He says hola.
Hola, what's going on, man?
Helix Cabana Boy real quick says, tune your amp with the OD already on.
Yeah, I that's what I do, because my overdrive's always on. It never gets turned off, unless I'm on a clean channel, obviously, but I bypass it with snapshots on my Helix. But yeah, so that's basically how I do it. I hope you're driving safe out there, Mike, by the way. Was there another comment?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, so let's go to the next, the third or fourth or whatever final one. Now, this one has a lead in it, a solo, and I have 100% gain versus 1 o'clock with a boost.
I'm surprised you can see that.
Yeah, so am I.
Where are your glasses?
Is it 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock? Yeah,
Which
one
one?
of the two. It's the top one. I think it's 1 o'clock with a boost. So, and this will show you the difference even on a solo, how important the overdrive is. The notes will sing better. Well, the video speaks for itself. Let me mute the mic and we'll go to that. All right, so here we go. So it was 2 o'clock. So you heard on there, like, the notes had more spice on them. You know, they were spicier, they lasted longer, they sang a lot better, and there was like this really, and I played differently, as you noticed in there. There were things I was hitting the strings differently with the pick because it was responding better when I did that with the overdrive, and it just inspired me to play differently. So I didn't go out of my way to be like, wow, with the boost on, I'm going to play better just to show. No, it just, I wanted to. Again, my car can corner better, so I'm going to corner. You know, I'm gonna do some drifting or whatever. So it allowed me to play better, and again, the notes just sang, and they just lasted longer, and I mean, it just turned into a Big Red commercial. So that's make it last a little longer. So I mean, it was just so much better. So now I know I'm an idiot. So on that note, though, I remember I asked you to remind me of George Lynch. I saw, and with all due respect, I love George Lynch.
Hey, Jarrod.
Yes.
Don't forget you want to talk about George Lynch.
Yes. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So again, I love George Lynch. He's one of my biggest influences, and I think he's amazing. But it seems like I caught him doing a clinic a couple weeks ago on YouTube, or maybe it was Facebook. It doesn't matter. So I'm watching this, and he's playing stuff, and his notes are just dying. Mm-hmm. Like he's holding stuff, and it's just he's doing little things here and there, and there's just like no oomph to it, no balls. It's just like this, and it seems like over the years he's gotten less and less and less aggressive with his tone, and it's just gotten very light and very like
he's evolving into his higher self.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. And again, I mean this with all due respect to him, but I'm sitting there going,
you'll accomplish that someday.
Yeah, I hope so. But I and again, I'm not making fun of the guy because he could play me under the table 8 days a week, but it's like something happened where it's like, do you not like gain anymore? Do you not like sustain? Do you want it to? Have you become such a purist that you don't want anything in front of your amp anymore? Where it's just like, all I need is my amp. But the thing is, like, dude, your notes are dying. There's no life to them. They just kind of, he's hitting things, and it's like, and I could tell he's like, oh, here we go, and he's like holding this note down. It's like, it just dies, and there's like no balls, there's no rage, there's no aggression, and it's just so odd. It's almost like, does he know someone turned his pedal off, or was he sabotaged? And I, again, not making fun of the guy, but it's just like, I can't deal with that when I'm playing. When I'm playing solos, especially,
nobody touches the dial.
Oh no, no!
Nobody touches the dial.
But the thing is, though, is I need my notes to sing, and it has nothing to do with, well, if you were talented enough. I'm sorry, but your talent doesn't make notes sustain longer. They're just gonna sustain as long as physics are gonna allow them. You can be limited by your equipment, so. So that's kind of a weird thing I saw, and I don't understand what's going on. Some guys just, after a while, maybe they're like, I want to mellow out a little bit, but it's like, dude, in a mix, your notes aren't standing out and singing like they should. It's really weird.
Andrew Stonerock just said, true story, the PV XXX was originally supposed to be the George Lynch signature back in 2001. Some crazy stuff went down behind the scenes, and PV ended up renaming the amp and releasing it.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
You had no idea.
Yeah, my whiskey just bit me. See? No, I had no idea. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with us. I mean, that's really interesting. I think our friend TJ's got a XXX. Those are heavy amps, too, man. He brought it over. We never got a chance to play it because we were doing a live stream that night, but I definitely want to check it out, anyways, but yeah, I mean, I just think that having it on just for solos is a mistake. You should have it on all the time. Your rhythm should be just as dynamic and chunky and aggressive as your leads. It really does help. I mean, and the thing is like when I'm doing runs as fast as I can do them anyways, this guy's way faster than me, but with the overdrive off, I feel like my notes kind of all melt into each other. And with it on, because it articulates better, I can hear the separation between my notes. And it really does help. Instead of that mush, you're getting that pick attack, and that's what really separates everything. So it really does make a difference. So now we can go over the stuff on your notes there.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about double tracking in the studio.
Yes, so double tracking in the studio. Okay, so we touched on this earlier, but things to keep in mind, like if you got studio engineers saying you got too much gain and, this and that. Well,
you just tell them to go home. You tell them to shut up.
Yeah.
And do your job.
Well, the thing is, though, is the studio engineer, I know because I record all our stuff, too, with the stuff. That sounded very technical. But the thing is, though, is they're coming from an engineer standpoint where it's like, okay, in a studio, when you're double tracking or quad tracking guitars, yes, you will need less gain because, like I said earlier, if you're going to have your gain cranked, and you're going to quad track or even double track the guitars, it just sounds like a big filthy mess.
Right.
It's like a lot of static and goo going on in between the notes. So I totally agree.
Goo, and it makes me want to search.
Yeah, well, there's a place down the street. So a studio engineer saying you should turn your gain down while you're on stage. Well, that's a horse of a different color. You're just one guy. But in a studio, dual tracking, quad tracking, yes, turn it down. But then again, there is a happy medium, like I showed in the first example, where the gain was at 7 o'clock. And there are guys, I've actually arm wrestled with studio guys before. It's like, this is where I think it should be. And I'm like, hell no. And it doesn't mean, I can't play that way. It's just, it doesn't sound beefy and thick enough. I want that rich tone. So I want something that sounds aggressive. So I want it 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. There's got to be a happy spot in there for most people. So again, depending on the situation, how many tracks you're mixing in the studio, you want your gain lower, obviously, but don't take it down too far because that, it just makes your sound really thin and there's no aggression there. So
Andrew Stonerock says he's a recording engineer also, so probably why he's always saying turn down the gain.
Yeah, no, Andrew, I agree. Like if you probably get guys in there that have their live setting on their amp and they're like, well, I always have it at 3 o'clock. And obviously for a guy like Andrew, he's listening to it going, dude, by the time I get done quad tracking your guitars, this is going to be a big mess, and I'm going to have to do this all over again. So why don't you just, because every time you add another guitar track, you're adding more gain because that track has gain on it. Yeah. And it's just gain, 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 and it just keeps getting bigger and fatter. So I agree with him, But you don't want to take your studio gain and go on a stage with it because it's just not going to work for you. You won't be able to play what you need to play. You lose sustain. And I guess that brings me to my next point.
Sure.
Okay, and I brought props. Most people listen to music these days on this, earbuds. And look how small these are. Let me just, I'm just being silly here, but that's the space. Hopefully there's no earwax on there, but that's the space you're filling, with all that gain and all that, those guitar tracks and all that stuff. So that's what it's coming out of. So another reason why you're going to use less gain in the studio, because that's what people are listening on it with. But when you go on stage, the room you're playing in is a million times bigger than that.
Right.
So there's all this air and space and acoustics and chairs and people and walls and all that stuff to soak all that up with, number one. And I'm just talking sonically here. I haven't got into how it feels. So all that space is like, it's going to just devour all of your tone anyway. So having a little extra gain, like let's say you're in the studio at 9 o'clock, you go on stage, you're at 1 o'clock. There's nothing wrong with that. So here's the other thing. When you're playing live, again, you're filling a room full of your guitar tone and stuff, so you need a little extra. But not only that, but you want it to feel right, and having that live performance kind of great aggression and feel and reaction between you and your amplifier really does make a difference, and you need that extra gain to give you what you need live. You really do, So it's almost like a performance enhancer, but in a good way, because we all need a little forgiveness while we're playing live. We do. What are you laughing about? Get your mind somewhere else. You know, so that's basically what that is it helps you do that. So, and here's another thing before I forget. When you mic a cab, you know, that mic is like right up on the grill cloth. It's capturing your tone before it even has a chance to escape into the room. So you're capturing all that stuff right there in a recording situation, and it's going right from there onto the recording data. You know, so it's like there's no chance for the gain to spread out and dissipate. It's all, that's why, you know, again, the gain's different in a studio.
Andrew had a couple more comments.
Okay.
Andrew Stonerock, he said, everything adds gain in the studio. All that gain builds up and gets super muddy.
Yep.
Preamps, consoles, interfaces, DI boxes, reamp boxes, all of it add gain and color.
Yep, you're right. It's all there, depending on the mics that you use, the position that they're in, how they're being punished by the speaker, which is a good thing, but you have to keep all that in mind. And then, again, quad tracking, oh my God, you know, I mean, it just adds a ton. So you got to be careful with that. But again, when you're playing live, you're in a bigger room, you're playing it, it's a different thing. Now you can use more gain. I'll guarantee you that any guitar player that goes in the studio, okay, and records his stuff, number one, he's not there when the guitars are actually being, you know, because they're being reamped. He's playing through a performance amount of gain on a DI, through a DSP, typically. Okay? So, and he's just recording his tracks there. He goes to lunch. The studio engineer grabs the guy's amp, dials it in so that it fits in the mix properly, depending on how many tracks he's going to do with it, quad or two or whatever. And then he's turning a knob. The studio engineer is not concerned about how does this feel when I play it. He's not playing it. He's reamping it on a track to see how it fits in a mix. So the studio engineer couldn't care less about how it feels. All he cares about is how it sounds.
Right.
So how can anybody say, well, you know, so if you go in and say, you know, hey, I like how that sounds. I want to take that tone on the road with me. Most studio engineers that really want to be up front with a guy are going to say, you do not want to play through this. It's 4 tracks. That's why it sounds that big and it sounds so aggressive, number one. Number two, the gain's lower than what you would like it. Trust me. When you play through this, it's going to sound small, and it's not going to give you that aggression that you like when you're out on stage, and you're going to disappear. All that aggression that you need is not going to be there in a live mix, you know.
Aaron Shorts asks, are you using the Helix drive pedals or just the precision drive and the amp gain?
Just the precision drive and the amp gain. I've found that, and I touched on this earlier, the digital overdrive pedals in any digital platform, whether it's Helix or Kemper or whatever, work really well with the digital amps that are in there, but they don't work so well with real amps because, see, you have tubes and circuits, and if you're going to push tubes and circuits with algorithms, they don't really, there's not a cohesiveness there. Yes, it will push it a little bit more, and it will give you a little more juice, but it doesn't even compare at all to a real pedal with real circuits in it. Because when you hook a real pedal up to a real amp, you're pushing circuits with circuits. And there's an actual like interaction there as opposed to algorithms. It's kind of like fake sugar. You know what I mean? Like let's say your sugar drops, right? Yeah. And you need something to get your sugar back up because there's, you know, a lot of diabetics can attest to this. You're not going to drink Diet Coke.
Right.
Because, oh, it tastes sweet, but it doesn't do anything chemically to your sugar intake, you know. So you need the real thing. So you need real sugar to get your body to respond properly to it. So it's the same thing as the algorithms in any digital platform. They're not going to push an amp like, you know, they will subtly do it, but they won't do it nowhere near a real pedal would.
Andrew Stonerock also says pickups also have an influence on how much gain you dial in.
Oh, hell yeah.
Activities like EMG and Fluence will probably have less gain on the amp. Passives generally need more gain depending on the output.
100% right. Yep, because if you get a guy that's got active pickups, they're already putting out 16 to 20 decibels of extra push into the front of the amp. So they're already pushing the amp. So you're going to dial things back on an overdrive compared to... more. So now this guitar and remind me to do that example. This guitar has 20 dB of extra boost in it. But the problem is it will push the amp harder, but it doesn't control the low end. So the amp, it just makes it feel a little better, but it's got a mushiness to it. So I would take the overdrive pedal that will actually sculpt your tone, because the 20 dB push on this guitar right here is amazing, but it doesn't sculpt your tone. All it does is slam the front of the amp a little harder. I need sculpting and slamming.
Aaron wants well, he says some drive pedals are digital, some hybrid, and some are analog. Definitely make a video demoing some. Please, that'd be a good idea for
it's
Wednesday.
a good idea. I think I should do the little comparison. Maybe I'll do that on a Wednesday night or something like that. Yeah, thank you for that. I can do that for sure. Because it really does make a difference. Again, just think of it that way. Like I said with the example of the real sugar and the fake sugar, literally is what's going on here. It really is, There's exceptions to everything, but,
You kind of already covered the earbud thing. That was next on your list. Earbuds versus venue.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then
So
what else was there? Yeah.
Amps in different time zones.
Ah, yes. Amps in different time zones. There's another weird analogy. So, never look at the number on the gain. You know what I mean? Like, wow, your gain's at 1 or 3 o'clock or this or that on your amp. I mean, that's too high. Well, compared to what? Compared to your amp, that your 9 o'clock is my 3 o'clock. Every amp's got its own thing. So, like even with treble knobs, I mean, you could take some amps and dime the treble, go all the way up on it, and you take those same settings on a different amp, and it's like screechy and horrible.
I see, yeah.
Every amp's in its own time zone with all of the knobs, but especially with gain. You take a Friedman. I'm just throwing names out there. Don't take these verbatim, but you could take a Friedman HBE and put it at 10 o'clock. Dime the gain. You could turn it all the way up, and then compare that to this amp, and this one's at noon, and it has the same amount of aggression. You know what I'm saying? So it's all different. So you can't really look at someone's gain on their amp, or even on your own amp, and go, well, I usually like 1 o'clock, so that's what I'm going to. No, I had my buddy Steve Shaheen came over here.
He just did this.
Oh,
he
cool.
Just did the horns
Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, Steve?
He must have just chimed in.
Yeah, so I was just going to use him as an example. He was over here with his, he's got a 6505 lunchbox. And the gain on that thing's so aggressive that we had the gain at 9 o'clock on that amp. But on other amps that day, like on the MT15, we had it at 1 o'clock. And they were both very aggressive at those settings. But if I would have set the MT15 to 9 o'clock, it just didn't have it. It wasn't enough. So, I mean, every amp's different. So don't look at a number like that's your sweet spot on every amp forever and ever, amen, because that's not the way it is. Yeah. They're all different,
Andrew says, Jarrod prefers the EQ curve of an overdrive. An EQ pedal would be a cool alternative. You could completely change the sound of the amp by EQing the input.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. But you're still missing the slam. So, and I agree with you, and I appreciate the comments.
Did you turn the track off? I just heard your phone buzz, and...
Oh, let me see. Let me see if I got a...
Somebody's trying to tell you privately that...
Nope.
Nope.
No, it's from PayPal. I've been selected to get a scammy thing from PayPal.
Okay.
That's what I got. Thanks, PayPal, for trying to scam me. So anyways, where was I? Oh, yes. So just like this button on here is going to, boom, slam the amp with 20 extra dBs of volume push into the front, and it doesn't sculpt the low end, you can sculpt it with an EQ pedal, but not push the amp with that theory. So what's nice, what I like about, and I appreciate, with the greatest respect, I appreciate you commenting, Andrew, because you're making a lot of sense. So
he said turn up the level on the EQ output section.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, yes. Yeah, there are pedals that allow you to do that. But what I like about the overdrive is that it does both, a flick of a switch. Which I know an EQ pedal will too when you dial it in. Sure. And there are videos about you can actually use an EQ pedal instead. But I just love the sculpting and the tone and everything, like Andrew said, that these pedals give me. it's just a nice trick. You just dial it in, and there's no guesswork. It's like you just go to the standard settings,
Yeah.
and then sculpt it a little bit from there, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's pretty much, what I like about the overdrive pedal. So I don't know, for anybody watching this, I hope this encourages you. I don't have an uncle that owns an overdrive pedal company. I just want you to get the most you can out of your experience with music and guitar and everything else.
Just try them out. I mean, you like that one. Everybody should try it, but compare it with others and find the one that's right for you.
Yeah, you'll find one that speaks to you that works. I mean, you will. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
What about, did you want to move on to misconceptions?
Yes. Let's let me see here. Rob Henson's asking, or Hanson, sorry. Have you seen Rick Beato or Rhett Shull videos covering skinnier string gauges? Yes, I have. We talked about that earlier. I know you're 7 guy mostly, but certainly have.
You should let the person that doesn't need glasses read the comments.
I'm sorry. I can't
What
read.
are you doing?
I have my glasses on.
Wasting moments.
Sorry here.
He says, I know you're a 7 guy mostly, but certainly has ruffled the debate between heavy or skinny.
Yeah, there's definitely a debate going on with that, and it's cool. I mean, I like the thicker strings because they last longer, and I like how they feel. If I get thinner strings on my guitar, I just overbend. And they just don't feel right with me. And I think it was Gravel Rock said earlier, I could pick faster with thicker strings because there's not that give and that flubbiness there. So
Vince Vegas says still missing the slam. I don't know. That might be referring to something you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely want the slam. I think he was talking about the EQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my inners just died. Let me put new batteries in. Hence why I bring down extra batteries.
This time.
Huh?
This time.
Yeah, this time. Exactly. Whoop. Get a litter in my basement.
Box Pathfinder says you can slam with an MXR10 band EQ. Yeah?
God, I brought these.
Do you need eyes?
I think I got it.
Got it.
Maybe. Put them in the right way. There we go. All right. And plugging them in helps. Reposition battery. Sorry, guys. Live TV.
Are you going to bring the results of the Chuggy Challenge into a episode?
I would like to. Yeah. As long as everyone's okay with that, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Make that a Sunday night thing.
Yeah.
You need what you need.
I keep saying reposition battery.
There you go. Lights on.
Put it in all the way. There we go. All right.
I was gonna say that little thing better start working or it's gonna get smashed.
Yeah, I have a bad temper when it comes to things not working because I'm like, if you're not going to work, I'll make sure you never work again. Yeah.
Let me help you not work.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so we want to be broke, do we?
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and take care of that. I have a credit card.
I agree with Gunnerman. Please like the video. Like and share the video. Yeah. Invite your friends to watch.
Please, thank you. We appreciate that very much. Likes help us big time.
Yeah.
What
do we have? Oh, we have 0 likes. There, I liked it. Now we have 1 like.
Goodness. Yeah, let's get some likes, guys. I really appreciate that.
You can X out of the live chat, go like the video, and go back into the live chat. Yep. Just like
very
that.
Simple. Yeah, thank you. Misconceptions, right?
Misconceptions.
All right, so misconceptions. I talked about one briefly earlier. I'll touch on it again. If you need, let's just say like if you need an overdrive pedal, that means you're not a good guitar player.
Yeah, you
Bull
suck.
crap. Well, John Petrucci uses one.
He's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's
yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's all right. Joe Bonamassa uses one. Stevie Ray Vaughan uses one. Steve Vai uses one. I mean, they all use them. I mean, they don't talk about it a lot, but it's just the way it is. They all use them, and I think a lot of reasons why I don't talk about it is because they're like, duh, who doesn't? You know what I mean?
It's not a
secret.
It's a non-issue. Is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, like she said, it's a non-issue. You know, so it's just the way it is. You know, so and like, well, you should be able to play all that stuff with your gain down lower. Well, I don't want to. It's not a matter of should I or shouldn't I. I don't want to. I want the meaty, chunky, aggressive, pick-attacky thing that my amps do when I have them dialed in properly. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. And it makes me happy to hear that. And when I'm happy and I'm digging what I'm playing and I'm digging
more creative.
Yeah, I'm more creative. I'm enjoying myself. And who could be creative when they're not enjoying themselves? Nobody. You have to be able to enjoy yourself, or else the creative part of you is dead.
Well, unless you write very sad music.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So I mean, but the thing is, though,
music. Really angry.
Well, it's just
horrible.
like anything else. I mean, it just feels better to play through something that's dialed in the way you like it. So don't let people tell you like, oh, if you need all that, you know. And you know what's funny is when I get people that get that way with me, and they're like, well, I don't need that, you know. I just need my amp. I just plug directly in, and I don't need all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let's hear you play. And they're playing strummy chords and basic stuff.
Strummy chords, your favorite.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, there's still only one like. All right, everybody. X out of the live chat.
Please. Yeah.
Go hit the like button, and then you can come right back in. You'll still hear us and see us.
But yeah, I mean, so don't let people tell you that you should turn your gain way down and turn off your overdrive, and it just I used to fall for that, like, oh, maybe it's me, maybe I need to. No, that's just the way it is, man. You need what you need. Again, goes back to the race car driver thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you take all that stuff off your car, and now all of a sudden you're not that good. Okay, well, if that's the case, let's put you in the same car and see how you do. There is talent involved and skill. It's just you need that, to do what you do. So what was the other one? You just said misconceptions in general?
Misconceptions in general.
I forgot to write down misconceptions. Yeah, but that's a big one. And again, turning your gain all the way up does not make the amp more aggressive. It just makes it muddy, and it doesn't help it sit in the mix very well at all.
Aaron Short says, what's wrong with strumming country? Seriously about to unsubscribe.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, it's literally like, you driving your grocery getter and ragging on a race car driver and saying, oh, you don't need all those fairings and all that stuff. Yeah. It's like, well, yeah, you're getting groceries, bro. You're not driving around a track at 200 miles an hour. Yeah. There's a difference. So use what you need for your style of playing, Okay, so, all right, so let me get into the amp, and I have a couple of different pedals. All right, so let me just fire this guy up real quick, and I'm going to play it with the precision drive to start with at the settings that I described earlier. I'm going to go to the Mesa Grid Slammer, and then I'm also going to use the built-in overdrive in the amp and just show you the different variables that it has and tell you what I'm experiencing. So first let me do the precision drive, and then we'll talk about that real quick. Okay, so that felt great. I got no issues with that. There's plenty of stop space in between the chugs and all that stuff, so it didn't sound like a big oozing mess, So the gain on the amp is at 1 o'clock. Where is it? Where's my gain? Yeah, 1 o'clock exactly. So it's not anything crazy, you know what I mean? So let's go ahead and go to a little mellower of a pedal, which is the Mesa Grid Slammer, and I'll play that for you real quick. Same kind of stupid riffs. Here we go. Also very usable. A little more mellower, not as aggressive, but I could totally do do a whole tour with that. It's fine. It just depends on what you want. And some guys change overdrive pedals depending on what room they're in.
Yeah.
There's guys that have a ton of them that they bring with them.
Know where you are.
Yeah, know where you are, know what's in the mix, and sometimes it's a mood thing. Like, I'm feeling this tonight, or whatever. So this has a built-in boost. Hear that? Let me feel that one out. Okay, so let me just turn this down here. So that was the lightest of the three. So I think the boost that the amp comes with would be the lightest. Then you go to the Mesa Grid Slammer second and the Precision Drive third. So there's guys that would just prefer, what comes with the amp because it does push it. But if you listen back and compare, there's definitely a lot of air between notes and stuff with the built-in boost. Still very good. Not as responsive as I would like it. Not as meaty and beefy as I would like it or aggressive. But it would work for me. But, there's people out watching right now that would prefer one of these over the other. And it's just a matter of taste. But either way, the amp's boosted. So it's a matter of how hot do you want your Thai food?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really what it comes down to,
Yeah.
So, okay. So anyway, so that's basically... I hope that covers the whole gain boost kind of thing. And if there's any questions about that, we can go through those real quick. Is there anything like that? Okay, so let's go on before we wrap up. We'll just do reader
comments,
viewer comments real quick, and and then we can. All
right, gotta pull them up.
I gotta get something to drink here.
Okay, let's see. This is kind of a lengthy one. It is from MK Guitar Channel. Dear Jarrod, I want to change my current guitar rig, Marshall JMP1 / IntelliFlex with 2x10 valve Marshall amplifier, and I'm thinking about the combination of an EVH 5153 EL 3450 watt in combination with a Helix. Line 6 running by 4 cable method. Are you using the 5153 and the Helix by 4 cable too? And do you know any problems of this combinations, or would you prefer another way of connecting or even an analog combination by a looper like the Boss ES8 with pedals? What's your opinion? Do you want there's a lot of questions in there.
I appreciate the question, and depending on what kind of music you play, but if you're looking for an EVH, probably you're looking for something pretty aggressive. I think the EVH is a great choice. I really do. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, the EL34 is awesome. Mm-hmm. We reviewed that, remember? Great amp. Love the clean channel. The blue channel, not so much. The red channel's amazing. But anyways, yes, I would highly recommend going to that. I just think that EVH amps are better than Marshalls. That's just my opinion. But they're fuller, they're more aggressive, and Marshalls to me, they just don't work for me, and I think that the EVH amps have a bigger sonic footprint than they do, and they just have a lot of rage. Now, pairing it with the Helix would be, absolutely, highly recommended. Mm-hmm. I love my Helix for the use of 4-cable method with all my amps, because it's very easy to dial in. It's very easy to set up, and I'm Brent. You can probably attest to that. We set his up today, and it was super fun and easy to do, and it allows you to be creative, not corrective. You can get in there, control your amp, switch all the channels, and have all the effects associated with whatever channel you're switching to turn on in an instant. It's easy. It's fun to use. So I would definitely pair. I would tell anybody that is buying any amp, get a Helix as opposed to all your, your pedals and stuff like that. God bless pedals, but it just does all the switching and all the great effects. The only pedal I wouldn't use that the Helix has with a real amp is, again, a real overdrive pedal. I would use a real overdrive pedal. Yeah. So
Vince Vegas says, did you hear the aggressive NAM 2920 amp uploads? Which is the most brutal and aggressive? I think it's the Omega Obsidian. I didn't hear the EVH 50 Streak or Stealth.
Oh, Stealth, yeah.
No one demoed it.
I'm going to have Omega on here within a month or so. Yeah, Omega's going to be on here. So, yes, I think Omega is a huge contender with these. I'm sure the EVH Stealth is amazing. I'll have that on here as well. As soon as Motor City gets it in, I'm sure... I'll have it on for a Wednesday night.
Whiskey.
It's all right.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm trying not to yawn now. But I will have that on. But I think the Obsidian, oh my God, those amps are just freaking stupid, the Omegas. I can't wait to get my hands on one of those amps. Those things are going to just crush. So I think that those were great at NAMM. I also think that the Rev G20 is going to be was a good contender, along with the Fortin Sigil. Oh my God, I can't wait to get my hands on one of those too. So, yeah, some really cool stuff coming out. So yeah, for sure.
All right, next from Andrew Stonerock, who is with us this evening.
Yes.
When you boost an amp, you're pushing more signal, more electrons into the preamp tubes. This makes the preamp saturate easier. This makes the harmonics stand out, makes squeals easier, and completely kills clean channels. You're getting the right feeling from the low-end roll-off associated with whatever EQ is built into the pedal. By the way, an EQ pedal can be used as a boost. You just gotta set the frequency band.
Yes, I appreciate the comment, and we use that tonight because of the title of the show. And I agree with everything you said. I mean, it couldn't have been said any better. So, well said. I mean, I totally agree.
Vince Vegas says, did he buy the Omega? Is that what you're saying, Vince? I bought it. Let's see. I bought it by what? But what do I do with it?
With the Omega?
Yeah.
Oh, if you bought it, oh my God, play the hell out of it.
Well, I'm getting that too. Did you hear his new speaker?
The Eminence? I haven't heard those yet. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure when Mike comes here, I'm hoping Mike comes with his amps.
Yeah.
But either way, if I got to pick him up, because he's a Michigan guy, so I can go get him. He's about an hour away from me. But either way, however it works out, I'm hoping to have, why not have his cabs and his speakers on here as well. So I want to have the full package. So I heard good things, though.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta shrink it. Let's see. This one was about the Helix, the Podgo. He says, agreed totally, Podgo, sorry, but a terrible name.
Yeah, I'm sure the Podgo is going to be a great product. I just wish that Line 6 would have not named it the Pod, because, it's an older product, and it's kind of outdated now, so why would you... I guess why would you do that? Because there's a stigma attached to it, and the stigma is not, the pod's terrible. So why would you? It's just, it's the stigma is attached to something that's like, are they still making pods? Like, is this a pod? Is this another pod? No, it's not a pod. It's a, it's just like, why don't you just call it Helix something or Helix Go or something like that? That's what I would have done, because it actually is a Helix. It's just stripped down. Hardware wise, so that it fits into a bag better and it's lighter and easier. Yeah. That's all. So
this next comment, I can't read this dude's name. It's in a different language. He says, hello, can you tell me which monitor headphones are better to buy for live performance of music on stage? I'm a drummer myself. Here is on this moment that advice.
Okay. Well, appreciate the question very much. Sorry about the translation there, but we do our best. I would definitely suggest the KZ AS10s. That's what I'm wearing right now. They fit in your ears really well. They're really good. There are 5 drivers in each one, and you get tons of low end, and they're pretty flat. You know, what I mean by that is you don't have to EQ them. There's no EQ on these. And if you guys want to, like, hear exactly what I'm hearing when I do Wednesday night things and, you know, I say this is how I think this sounds or whatever, you'll be on the same page as me if you buy these. They're like $50-some, $59 for a pair.
They're big. They did not work for me. They sounded good, but they kind of hurt my ear holes.
Yeah. She's real sensitive with that, so she had to get you had to get customs.
Yeah.
But for most people, they work just fine. I wear them 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm fine, and they sound great. So like if you want to be on the same page as me when I'm playing stuff, you could be like, oh, you'll be hearing exactly what I'm hearing to the T because there's no EQ on mine. So. That'd be interesting, you know.
Let's see. Next, from Wes Harrison. What kind of power amp are you running through? Is direct overall better for any power amp or tubes only?
Yes. So he was asking like what I was running through with my Kemper. And so what I do is I run my Kemper into my Synergy Syn 5050 all tube power amp, and then from that into the real cabs. And that combination between the amp, the power amp, the tube power amp, and the cabs can't be beat. I mean, it's better than direct. Excuse me. It's better. I did a whole England there. It's better than direct. Yeah, it's that chicken. It's better than direct, and it just feels better. And there's like when you run it through direct into a FRFR cab, what you're getting is all that sizzle, that weird stuff at the top end. You know, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
Sizzle's only good in bacon.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it sounds like to some people. Are like, it sounds like crackling bacon. So, running your digital platform, whether it's a Kemper, Headrush, Helix, whatever, into a real tube amp and a real cab definitely sounds better, feels better. The clarity's there, the note separation's there, and you know, and it takes out all the guesswork because now you're not worried about IRs and all that stuff anymore. Takes all that stuff out of the way, you know. You can't fight with real. Real's the best. So.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, what else you got?
Let's see. They were talking about Vince and Aaron are going back and forth. About his Omegas and 100 watts and pushing air and.
Omegas are awesome amps. Jeremy Vareo, a friend of ours, he did a review of Omega amps over at Donkeys and Donuts. That's the name of his channel. Donkeys and Demos. I'm sorry. Donkeys and Demos. Donkeys and Donuts. Donkeys and Demos. It's Jeremy Vareo, a friend of mine, and he went to NAMM and did a quick run through of like a lot of amps, but one of them was the Omegas, and he was like, dude, those amps slay. They're ridiculous. So I can't wait to get him over here. Yeah. Was there any other reader or viewer comments?
No.
Okay, so where are we at here? We're at...
It's 8:47.
8:47. Oh, my God. Well, we've been on for quite a while. Let's see, Aaron Short. Oh, yeah, you guys are definitely loving the real amps, aren't you? Yeah, the real amp thing is awesome. Yeah, Jeff Cornell. Sorry, my glasses.
You could try the Seymour Duncan Power Stage too.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard mixed reviews on that. In fact, I'm going to do an episode, tube power amps versus solid state power amps very soon, and I think the results are going to be very interesting because I've heard a lot of people say, well, I got a powered Kemper. Steve Shaheen actually told me that. We might even. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day.
No, it's the whiskey.
Yeah, it's making me sleepy. But Steve Shaheen even said he's got a powered Kemper, and he compared it to a real power amp, and he said the difference is night and day. Like a real tube power amp versus a solid state is always going to be better. So I want to do a shootout with that for you guys, and we can all kind of learn together, like which one's really better, and is it worth the effort. I can say that the Syn 5050 by Synergy is 24 pounds and it only takes up 1 rack space. So it's not like you're lugging around like this
Right.
big behemoth.
Taking up all the space.
It's like a briefcase. You know what I mean? It doesn't take up a lot of space, so it's not a bad option, really. And I know Fortin came out with one this year too, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, I think that
Is it that time?
yes, it's pretty much that time. We've been on for quite a while
It's
here.
bathroom break time.
It's bathroom break time at least. So, well, we want to please give us a like and a share, and if you haven't subscribed, please do.
Check the likes.
We would really appreciate that very much. And we go live every Sunday night at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. And a lot of times we'll have demos. A lot of times we'll just hang out and talk. Sometimes we have fight nights. We have all kinds of stuff. Just keep an eye on the community section of our channel, and we'll put stuff up there to let you know what's coming. And Wednesday nights, I either do a like a clinic gear tutorial type thing at 8:00, or I'll have a new amp or a piece of gear. Last week I did the Kraken versus the EVH 100 watt, and that was a fun night. I was on for almost 3 hours. It was great. We just did a bunch of, and I played the backing tracks and stuff like that, so you can hear everything in a mix. And I got new backing tracks, and I got to practice, so I can have some new stuff for you guys on Wednesday.
Can you hear those?
So yeah, well, they're crazy. I can't even play them right now, so I'm kind of scared. But anyway, so Sunday nights at 7, Wednesday nights at 8 Eastern Standard Time. And we always have a good time here. And I got the Rev coming up soon, the Rev G20. I have the Omega amps, the new EVH Stealth coming, and all kinds of great stuff coming for you guys. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And we will, and thanks again for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it very much. And for all the super chats and support.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We will see you all soon. Wednesday night, it's 8:00. I look forward to seeing you guys here. God bless you guys.
Good night.
And good night, and we'll see you soon.